let's talk about Death Note. Okay, so in the show, if you haven't seen the show, it's about this guy named Light, and a book falls from this guy, and he goes, Nani? What is that? And then he picks it up, and it's just a bunch of rules that are like, if you write somebody's name in this, they will die. Bum, 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 bum. And he's like, I don't believe that for a second. My IQ's above 5. So then he tries it, and then it works, and he's like, nah, it's gotta be a coincidence. The second time he uses it, somebody dies in front of him. Oh my god, this is the actual thing. If I write somebody's name in this, they will die. He's astonished. He's like, wow. So then he spends the rest of the first episode, because this all happens in the first episode, because the show moves quick, like lightning. He spends the rest of the first episode debating the moral quandaries of using this notebook. You know, whether it's good or moral. Just kidding, he doesn't do that. He goes home and says, I'm gonna become a god. In literally like less than 2 minutes, he goes from, oh shit, oh god, I killed somebody, to, I'm a murder machine, baby. I'm gonna become the next god. Me. And every time I rewatch the first episode and just the series in general, it always impresses me how they just skip past any sort of deep moral or internal conflict Light might have. I think that's such a bold move, and I think it paid off really well. If you look at other shows like the recently popular The Good Place, which is kind of similar themes about death and good and evil, they have a whole character devoted to ethics and what are the moral repercussions. And yes, it's kind of a different genre, but the idea is if you talk about death a lot, you got to talk about it ethically and whether it's good or bad and how that all fits in. This show kind of just skips right past that. It reveals so much about Light's character and his quest for power and his just insane ego, which the more you watch the show, the more I'm amazing he becomes, which is okay. And once again, the story just moves along so fast, you don't have time to stop and think about the ethical repercussions about what Light is doing. You just go, oh wow, Ryuk likes apples? That's pretty neat. What's gonna happen next? Oh, he's writing another name? That's crazy. Instead of putzing around the moral quandaries of the whole situation, the show just goes, Light is a mass murderer, and then the very next episode, they introduce L to us, like almost immediately, setting up the famous chess game that the show is known for, as well as establishing who the good guy is and who the bad guy is. Because even though Light is the protagonist of the story, he's very clearly the villain. By the way he murders thousands of people, to the way that anytime they do the side-by-side with the color things, he's always red, which is evil, and L is always blue, which is good. You know what I mean? This just paints them as one-dimensional characters and hits the famous archetypes of good versus evil. The show doesn't try to justify or explain morally what is happening and what's going on. It just goes, keep up, we're moving along. The premise of the Death Note and all of the killings that Light does quickly take a backseat to the characters and the story that surrounds them. And this is where the movie is different, because in the movie, Light's a fucking pussy. The show is about Light and L and their relationship, and they're trying to outdo and outthink each other. And the movie is strictly more or less about the book. In the show, both L and Light are one-dimensional characters, and they only have one goal in mind. Light never second-guesses what he's doing. Light knows he wants to beat L and become a new god. L wants to capture Kira at all costs. Having these goals defined makes it so it's a lot easier to follow what's going on, and we can just stick to the relationship/battle between him and L. Good versus evil. In the movie, they're not like that at all. They go, Light does extra homework for other kids that's Calculus 1. Like, I can do Calculus 1, I'm not a mass murderer. In the movie, the Light halfway through goes, maybe we should stop killing people. We don't know what's good and what's bad. The only reason the movie has any sort of conflict is because of Mia, who is kind of Misa from the show, but also not at all. Mia pushes him along and wants him to keep using it, even though he wants to stop. Even because the first half of the movie, he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody. And then halfway through, they realized we can't make Nat Wolff seem like the bad guy. He's the star. He's the protagonist. We can't have the protagonist be a bad guy, can we? So they make Mia the villain, and then Light get off scot-free, kind of, even though the cliffhanger. Not only does this completely change the dynamic of the story and the characters, but at the beginning of the movie, he was just writing people's names down he saw on the TV, and then towards the end, they look on the Kira website, and then Mia goes, we'll kill them, and he goes, but we don't actually know what they did or what their situation was. Maybe it was, justified. That's completely opposite from what he did at the beginning. I don't understand. In the movie, Light has a moral dilemma about using it, or at least he seems to. The movie's not very good or very clear, so it's hard to know what they wanted. And it feels like he has a moral dilemma towards the end to try to make him seem somehow redeemable. Yes, he kills his girlfriend, but that was kind of an accident, only if she took the book from him. And so they kind of paint her to be the bad guy, and he goes, I didn't want to kill her, but I had to. In the show, they just go, Light's a super genius, kind of an asshole, but watch him work. Look at him go, baby. The movie version of Light would debate, and does debate in the movie, whether or not to kill somebody. But the show version of Light, he will do whatever it takes to win. The show version of Light, like, he would already have a plan and be 10 steps ahead. If you can tell anything by the last couple episodes of the season there. He was thinking 3 years in ahead. It was crazy. The one in the movie was like, I don't know, I just wanted some good puss. Ooh. The show version of Light has zero internal conflict at all, and really only thinks in terms of problem solving and how do I achieve my goal. Making him have a defined goal and static character worked better for the pacing and overall themes of the show than the movie just trying to do it at all. They were like, Light feels bad for killing people. He has moral dilemmas. He feels bad about killing Watari. He didn't want to kill Watari, but it happened because Ryuk is bad in the movie, but Ryuk in the show is just like, I don't give a damn. I'll tell you what, though, I really liked Willem Dafoe. I just love Willem Dafoe as a guy. Go watch The Lighthouse. So yeah, bottom line, Light's lack of an internal conflict in the show, even though he's one-dimensional, makes him a better, well-rounded character than the one from the movie, which is crazy and not how that should work, but definitely is what happened. So if you get the chance, go make fun of the movie. Just kidding, watch The Lighthouse instead, and also starring Willem Dafoe.
Pull up in a Rari, smoking dope with Nefertari. In that sheenie, got me outy, probably smelling like Armani. Keep a blonde golf shorty, she look just like Misa. Ooh, gold all in my mouth, little bitch, I look like golden freezer. Ooh, they call it